Alright, we are back again. A couple of days later since the last time. So what have we done? Well, I still have yet to edit and post a bunch of footage, but hopefully it'll go up before this does. So we've got it running and driving pretty well. There was a charging issue. We broke out the multimeter because we found that we could only get a couple of starts out of it before it wouldn't turn over well enough anymore. So we broke out the multimeter, realized that we weren't getting a charge on the battery, so went to Amazon like we always do, and I picked up a replacement voltage regulator, which is that guy right there. 2 wires, 1 bolt, easy. It couldn't have been easier to replace that dude. That fixed our charging issue. So the next issue we ran into, which you guys will probably have already seen in the previous video, is that when you have the mower running and you would attempt to engage the deck via the PTO switch there, the motor would just stop. So we realized that some of the pulleys and stuff on the blade were rusted in place, so pulled the deck off, broke those loose, lubed it a little bit, and stuck it all back together. Tested it. This time when you pull the PTO, you can hear the PTO engage, the deck starts to spin, but the symptom this time was that it was almost like you turned the ignition off right when you did that. So went on to the YouTubes and searched up to see if anyone was having a similar issue. Turns out lots of people were having similar issues. About half of them, it was low battery voltage, and the other half, it was the PTO switch. So we hadn't fixed the charging at that time yet, so we went over, robbed a fully charged battery out of the Cub Cadet, put it in here, no fix, same issue. So I ordered a new PTO switch, which was only 10 bucks. Again, Amazon. So here is our new PTO switch. If you are going to order one of these for your mower, be sure you match the configuration of the blades here on the bottom, because there are quite a few different kinds, because this is sort of a multi-function switch, and I'm sure it's based on different safety features and whatnot that the mowers have. So we're gonna toss this fella in. We've already got the old PTO switch pulled loose, and it's as easy as you think. You know, unplug, plug the new one in. And thanks to the magic of television, it is replaced. Zoom out faster. 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 Master. Master of puppets pulling strings. Here's the old switch. Externally, it doesn't look like it's too bad off, but it was
literally coming apart.
It was coming apart. You can see it. I don't know if you guys can see that in there, but it's pretty funky. So, cheap fix. I'm all for rebuilding and refurbishing things, but sometimes it just saves a whole lot of frustration to replace it with a brand new part. So Chris is mounted up. He's going to give her a start and see if she works. We're going to test that switch before we jam that whole assembly back into the panel there. So let her rip, Tater Chip. Well, that's interesting. Maybe not the switch then. I wonder if we have a safety switch issue. Because in addition to the seat safety mechanism there are also safety switches on either of the control arms here. And the safety switches engage and disengage based on if you put those up in the drive position or not. Should we just jump that switch? Get out of the load path. So it worked right once and then didn't work right? Well, you guys can see it's engaging the PTO because the deck starts to spin. You can hear it clicking in there.
Turning it off.
What?
Something is turning it off. So.
Well, yeah, that's been the problem most of the time. Isn't this always how these projects go, guys? Anybody remember the good old days when you would engage the deck via a lever and an idler pulley? Yeah, I miss that stuff too. So let's go back over to the bench here. What are you gonna do? Set up some jumpers or something?
Yeah.
Let me figure out what's going on, folks, and I will resume. Okay, guys, it's probably about 2 hours later. The switch replacement, as you guys saw, did not fix the issue. So I got on the old interwebs, and to Swisher's credit, thankfully they have a decent wiring diagram. So we were chasing colors, made sure the pinout on the switch was correct and what was going to what. We were chasing, make sure there were no broken wires or anything. We couldn't figure it out until what Chris did was he unplugged the part of the harness here that goes to the engine. We're able to start and run the engine without any of that connected, but what we can't do was turn it off. So in essence, there's a circuit in here that when you turn the key to the off position, it grounds out the magnetos that are on the side of the engine here and kills the ignition. Okay, that's exactly what was happening when we would turn the PTO on. So we knew that the ignition kill ran off of black wires, so we disconnected this wire out of the harness, fired it up, engaged the PTO with the engine running, it engaged, no problem. So we traced this wire back, we found that it went to the seat safety switch. Okay, yeah, unplug that. We had that jumped previously, but it was still acting as though you were out of the seat. So Swisher, in their clever, sneaky, I want to wipe a booger on their windshield type of sneaky. If you look real close at this switch, you see this little nub right here in the middle that I can push down like that? That is spring loaded, and when this is disconnected from the switch body, this jumper completes the circuit internally and makes it act like you've gotten out of your seat and kills the mower. So it was this safety switch that was causing our grief, not anything in the pinout here, and probably not even the actual PTO switch. So we plugged this back in, tried getting in and out of the seat. Unfortunately, that didn't change the status of this switch because this thing is heavily roached out and rusted, and we are going to replace the seat anyway. So what we are probably going to do is de-pin this connector and just jumper the wires together so that they're not internally disconnected. That is some sneaky crap. I've never seen that type of failsafe.
I've never ever seen something like that ever before.
Yeah, that's sneaky. That's some sneaky crap. Because part of anyone's normal troubleshooting to test to see if this switch is bad
Just to unplug
is to unplug the switch and toss a jumper wire in there.
Yeah.
But yet Swisher designed that plug to where they don't want you to do that. You have to actually have this little plastic nub in the middle depressed and the wire jumpered.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. I mean, that's the end game right there as far as functionality. We tested this, it works fine. Chris mowed a little swath out there in the yard with it. PTO engagement and disengagement acts just like it should. Still turn the mower off with the key. Mm-hmm. The bar safeties work just as they should anyway. So I'll probably research this to see if
we should be able to find a seat that you can put a safety switch in it. Or
I'll bet you we can find an exact replacement for this, for that safety switch component, because to do it right, we should replace the switch components with new switch components that aren't rust jacked and worn out and stuff.
That, or we can just make our own safety switch.
A pressure safety switch that mounts to here and just uses when it pops down, the pressure pushes the momentary and opens it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can do that too. It's probably the best way to go about it.
That way, if you fall off the mower, it'll kill the mower. Because the way we have to do it to make it work is you fall off here.
Well, if you fall off, I mean these hold you in when they're not in the neutral position here. Mm-hmm. So in order for you to fall off the mower, these would have to end up in the neutral position. Now, that being said, with these in the neutral position, you can turn the deck on. Mm-hmm. So if nothing is mathematically impossible, although it's very unlikely that you manage to get these into the neutral position to a point where you could leave the mower and its momentum carry it over you with the deck engaged. I mean, there is a mathematical reality to where that could happen, but I just don't foresee it being likely enough. So, I don't know. It is what it is. What we're going to do, though, as kind of a payoff, is we're going to toss all this stuff back together. And for the right now, we're going to leave this disconnected. I might wrap it in shrink wrap or electrical tape.
Yeah. That way it doesn't hit any bare metal and ground
Yeah,
it out.
that way we don't ground it out and kill the thing. Until we come up with a permanent solution for the seat switch. Because I'd rather not just cut that connector off. I'd rather replace it with the right thing. But H1 Hummer pickup style, like it. It's expensive. I'll never be able to own one of those. But yeah, we're gonna do that. Chris has already got the electrical tape ready to go. So we'll bring you back when we got this thing back together. We're gonna give a shout out to who? How about you, Hank? We watch it. We watch a ton of your videos, and we're using your favorite tool. Got the crescent wrench out. The only tool in the toolbox you need. One size fits all.
And all are welcome.
Yep, all are welcome. We don't discriminate here. Also would like to give a shout out to Not For Hire Square Body. Isn't he Mike, I think?
I think his name's Mike.
Been watching a bunch of his videos. Go over there, check his channel out. He actually has subscribed to our channel.
Oh,
So
nice.
we want to thank him for that.
Got a nice cab over.
Oh man,
Jealous.
that thing is pretty sweet. That's the Jolly Green project. Go check that out. We sometimes do stuff with a little bit of a roadkill flair, you know, doing the right thing the wrong way. Shout out to all those guys as well. But Not For Hire, he's doing all the right things the right way in regards to all the maintenance and service on this cab over. So if you want to see how to do a proper service, albeit an expensive service, on a cab over, go over there and check him out. We're going to finish getting this buttoned up, and we'll bring you back. Alright, we got her all buttoned up. We're going to see if she will go from cold to mowing the yard.
Yeah.
Hit it. The deck lower works. There's our deck. I'd say that's a success.
Yep. She runs, she mows, she stops, she goes.
Yep. We do have the chute that goes on the side of the deck there. We took that off just for ease of working around it. So, only a few things left to do. I'm not sure if we'll film them or not. We're going to try to abate some of this rust, especially on the deck and that stuff.
The deck is the bad part.
Yeah.
The top part, because that's where all the grass and the leaves and all that stuff will gather and sit there and
rust it away.
rust it away.
It's not crunchy by northern standards, but you guys have seen it. It's pretty crusty. We may or may not replace some of the bearings in there because some of them are a little bit noisy. It's a single drive belt for that whole deck, and it goes all the way back to the engine, which is where the PTO is. That's going to get replaced. That's probably the single most expensive part we're going to end up putting on this thing, except for maybe the seat. The belt is about $40, and that's for an actual Swisher brand belt, which will probably go with the name brand just to make sure that it's the right one. We are going to service the hydrostatic drives. They may have water in them, we don't know. I think that might be for what that vent tube is right there coming up the right side with that little yellow plug in it.
Yeah, that's what this is. It's a vent tube.
So we need to find out what kind of fluid goes in there, whether it's motor oil or transmission fluid or a special hydraulic oil or what. That'll say in the manual. And yeah, pretty good feeling, guys. So far, I have probably got about 120 bucks in it. Chris probably has about 40 for the battery.
Yeah, the battery was $44.
Yeah, $44 at the local Wally World.
Home Depot, actually.
Oh, it was Home Depot?
Mm-hmm.
Was that before or after you got your core charge back?
I think that was after.
Okay.
I bought some other stuff too.
Ah, okay. But yeah, he bought the battery. I've bought all the nickel and dime stuff. This is our first complete revival, guys. It's just a lawnmower, but it's a big deal for us. What's coming up on the channel? We don't know.
Whatever we can find.
Yeah. I would like to get the 86 Suburban moved here to work on. That's going to be a logistical hassle. Yeah, I won't go into it. Landlord rules. We've got some other stuff we can work on though, and some other stuff we are going to work on. Take you around and show you some of what I might do. You guys comment and let me know what you'd like to see. Here's one of my other vehicles. It's a '79 Chevy K10. It's a four-wheel drive. Bone stock front to back. Air cleaner to oil pan. Starts, runs, drives. It's beautiful. Well, it's not beautiful. It's not restored. It's a little rough, but it's in pretty good shape for something that wasn't really well looked after until I got it. Little something here that is in a little bit nicer shape.
If anybody can guess what kind of car this is,
yeah,
comment down below.
If they can't figure that out,
yeah,
then they're not American classics aficionados. Yeah, it's a '57. It's a four-door sedan, 210 trim. It's a 235 straight six with a 3-speed on the column. I love it. We've done the brakes on this recently. I didn't have all my camera stuff set up, so we didn't film that. It needs an oil change and probably a coolant flush. We will film that. Probably going to get seat belts in it too, because it currently does not have them. A Ford 641 Workmaster. Almost the exact same tractor as a Ford 8N or a 9N, except it's got an overhead valve engine instead of a flathead. Our dad bought this, a decade and a half ago, probably 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
We haven't done a ton to it. It's been really, really, really reliable.
The only thing we have done is
Fuel tank?
just a brand new gas tank, and I've rebuilt the carburetor, and
Yeah, and we replaced the ignition resistor on it, and it worked beautifully.
most people don't like carburetors, but this tractor, you hit the key,
You breathe on the key and this dude fires up.
Fires right off.
Notice our fancy roadkill wire looms. Oop. Late 70s, early 80s Ford 1710 or 1720?
1700.
It's a 1700. Two-cylinder Japanese diesel engine. Four-wheel drive. It's got a loader, obviously. When we got this thing from our neighbor,
It was blown up.
it was blown up. We were able to fire it up, and it ran for about 2 seconds and then locked up.
It threw a rod.
Yep, through a rod. Thankfully didn't damage the block too much or anything. Chris Googled, downloaded. Well, I don't know where the camera shut off or stopped recording, but it did. So 641 Workmaster, 1700 series Ford tractor, little diesel. Both workhorses. You can jump on this Workmaster, breathe on the key, and go cut the back pasture, which is exactly what I do with it. The K10, the 57, those are long-term projects. None of that's for sale. I say that. If someone came and offered me a ridiculous amount of money for either of them, I'd part with them soon as crap. But the K10 is the last thing that Dad and I both worked on. So it would take a very significant sum of money to grab that one, because there's some sentimental value. That's going to be it. I think this is going to be the last video on the Swisher Zero Turn series. But if we decide to do another one, you'll see it here. And if you want to know where we learned to do this stuff, I saw it online. Thanks. Bye. Oh, as a reminder, I am going to post a 1,000 subscriber giveaway to kind of help bring a little visibility to the channel. First place is going to be a $50 Amazon gift card. Second and third places are going to be $25 Amazon gift cards. Look forward to that video. Thanks, bye.